We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Captain America Iron Man Issue 1. This is a 2021 miniseries from Marvel Comics, written by Derek Landy, art by Angel Unzueta. Color artist was Rachelle Rosenberg, letters by VC's Joe Caramagna, cover art by Alex Ross, edited by Alana Smith, with assistant edits by Martin Biro and Caitlin Lintervent. We start off years ago with Tony fooling around with some chick named Veronica, who was trying to get something funded, but Tony had no interest in that project. He was just looking for sex, but he did get her a job with S.H.I.E.L.D, and that ended up being a big mistake because Veronica Eden was actually an infiltrator believed to be working for Hydra, and she has some annoying banter that you would see on TV with the judge, whose name is Tee-Hee Judge. And on her way to be transported to jail, an alien named 51 shows up. He was part of the 50 State Initiative, and he starts breaking her out. But there's also some Hydra troops that help her escape, but thankfully Iron Man is on the scene, and so is Captain America. Unfortunately, they end up having to save a busload of people, and that allows Veronica Eden to escape. Now, they manage to track her down to a warehouse where 51 is apparently working for her to get something. We don't really know what his motivations are. He's an alien, and she doesn't understand what he's saying. And that's when the Paladins show up. They're apparently part of the 50 State Initiative that went rogue, and they're kind of goofy, lame heroes like Think Tank, who's just a floating brain and eyes, Prima Donna, who's apparently like a powerhouse, Vox, who is some sort of undefined energy, and Pioneer, who's like an old west chick with a gun that she only hits somebody with. She doesn't actually shoot anyone. That's weird. Then Iron Man and Captain America show up and things get crazy. Unfortunately, we're left with a cliffhanger ending that reveals Veronica's anti-superhero sentiments and probably part of a larger plan. Overall, the story was good. Veronica's dialogue is really obnoxious though. She's snarky, stereotypical modern millennial speak from Twitter. Really not that original and very, very irritating. And her talk in the courtroom really wouldn't have been tolerated. Overall, though, the action was good. The story itself is fine. The artist needs a little bit of work, though. There's some really interesting issues with faces, mostly. I think that's partly due to it being digital art. So there are some posing issues with Captain America's arm in a few panels, but overall, I would say the artist has talent, just needs to refine that a little bit, and maybe don't use what look like manipulated photos for highway scenes. Another issue I took was the paper quality is trash as usual with Marvel, but there's also this multi-page gatefold insert that is really, really irritating. I hate those things. They're really bad. Even though it did advertise the Reckoning War, which has Jack of Hearts in it, and I am kind of intrigued by that. Unfortunately, it's written by Dan Slott, so I'm not going to buy it. But the insert is something that could easily get ripped up, so I'd be aware of that if I were buying this used. But overall, I think the artist has some potential, just needs more work. It's not really ready for prime time. This is more indie art that could use a lot more refinement before it hits the big two, but Marvel's quickly becoming a second-rate publisher. But I thought the story was good. I'm going to pick up issue 2. Like I said, the only real complaint I have would be the dialogue from Veronica. It's a little too generic Twitter speak that is just boring and hackneyed, and it's not going to age well. Comes off as very pretentious and annoying. It's very unrealistic TV type talking. It's not how people actually talk in real life, and I found that frustrating. Plus, there's Groflex. If you can't use the swear word, don't use the little symbols. It's lazy. And in every case, it could have been deleted and it wouldn't have affected anything. So I thought that was a pretty big strike against it because that usually is a portrayal of bad writing. But overall, I thought it was a good story. It was just a few minor things that need corrected and a little bit of art corrections that probably should have been done. But I enjoyed the story and I will read issue 2. And the cover's great. It's Alex Ross. Unfortunately, it's just a pinup. It doesn't tell you anything about the story, but it is very well done. So I'll recommend it, but not at the cover price. $4 probably isn't unfair, but I think there's enough flaws that it probably does need a little bit more work. But if you can pick it up for a reasonable price, I'd say go for it. That'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links to my merch store and other support links are in the description. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.